Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Michael. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I have some battery life tips and tricks for your iPhone. So over the last few weeks, I've been using my iPhone 13 mini. And if any of you have a mini size iPhone, you know that when you're using this phone, you pretty much have to turn into a battery saving expert. And all these tips I'm giving you in this video apply to all iPhones, not just the mini phone. So hopefully you can learn something new in this video and get a few extra hours of use out of your iPhone. So let's go ahead, jump in right now and get started. So the first tip is something that's already built into your iPhone, and it is to use dark mode. So this is especially useful on modern iPhones, ones that have an OLED display, and that's because each pixel is responsible for illuminating itself. So if we take an app like Notes, for example, every single pixel inside this application is turned on. And if you're using this at a high brightness, this is definitely going to drain your battery life. So if I turn on dark mode, as you can see, now I'm inside Notes, all of these pixels have been completely shut off. So if you need to extend your battery life and you have an iPhone with an OLED display, I'd highly recommend using dark mode as it's going to consume a lot less power. So my next tip would be to use airplane mode, and this is only for use in extreme situations where you need to squeeze out a few extra minutes from your iPhone's battery. I say this because you could miss a phone call or a text message when you have airplane mode turned on, but it does extend your battery because the modem inside your iPhone doesn't need to work on each antenna to try to maintain a connection to the cellular tower. So if you have a Wi-Fi connection already and you know you're not going to be getting any phone calls, just turn on airplane mode and hopefully it can extend your battery life. So next up, this one is really simple, but I'm surprised so many people overlook this, and that is the volume on your iPhone's internal speakers. So when you're watching videos on the internet or listening to music, you may be surprised at how much the speaker actually contributes to battery drain, as it's pumping out a lot of air from your iPhone and taking up a lot of power. So if you're running your volume above 80%, I just recommend bumping it down a little bit, and that way your speaker is going to be consuming a lot less power. So the next tip, this one is located inside of settings, and again, this one has to do with the display on your iPhone taking up a lot of power. So this isn't dark mode, but it also affects the colors on your iPhone's display. So you're going to go into accessibility settings and then click on display and text size, and then scroll down until you see color filters. And then you're going to turn on color filters and choose grayscale. Now, as you can see, this pretty much turned my iPhone into black and white. And if your iPhone's display isn't displaying color, it's going to be consuming a lot less power. So it makes your iPhone kind of boring. And honestly, the most stimulating part of using an iPhone is the colorful, bright display. But if you need to squeeze out a few extra minutes of usage out of your iPhone's battery, I'd highly recommend turning it to black and white. So I have some suggestions I figured I would throw in the middle of this video. If there is one thing that is bad for iPhone batteries, it is heat. So if you're able to maintain the temperature of your iPhone and keep the temperature as low as possible, your iPhone's battery is going to be a lot better in the short term and also the long term. So in terms of the short-term stuff, if you just keep your iPhone cooler throughout the day, so you don't have it directly in the sun, your battery is going to be longer. And also in the long term, if you're charging your iPhone in a way that generates a lot of heat, that's not going to be good for the overall battery health of your iPhone. So I'd recommend avoiding using wireless chargers, as that generates a lot of heat. And as I just said, heat is not good for iPhone batteries. So the best way to charge your iPhone is with a cable and just let it charge slowly overnight. So the next tip again is inside of settings. Just click on display and brightness and then go down to auto lock. Now this is set by default to 30 seconds, which is good, meaning if you don't touch your iPhone's display within 30 seconds, it's going to lock itself to save battery. Some people have changed this to 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. As low as you can keep this timeout, the better your battery life is going to be. So if you have your iPhone sitting on a table and you're not using it, it's going to lock by itself and save power on the display. So the next one is inside of settings again. It's under privacy and security, and then location services, and then scroll down here to system services. Now the first one I'd recommend turning off is significant locations. So if you click on it right here, it's going to ask for authentication with Face ID or your passcode. I'm not going to click on it just because it'll show all of my addresses, but I'd recommend turning off significant locations. And there also are a few other things inside of settings here that you can turn off, as location and GPS can drain your battery a lot. So for example, location-based suggestions and location-based alerts, you could turn these off. So as many toggles as you can turn off in here, it's going to extend your battery life, as the GPS chip in your iPhone can drain a lot of power. So my next suggestion is to use low power mode. So you may have seen the pop-up when your iPhone reaches 20%, it gives you the prompt to turn on low power mode, but you can actually turn on low power mode even before your iPhone reaches that low level of battery life, so you can hopefully extend your battery life throughout the day. So you can simply tell Siri to turn on low power mode. You can also find it inside of Control Center, and it also has its own section inside of settings. If you click on battery, you can see low power mode is right there. And when you have it turned on, it simply reduces some of the background activities on your iPhone. And also if you have an iPhone 13 Pro or Pro Max, it's going to bump down your refresh rate from 120 Hertz to 60 Hertz. So hopefully having low power mode on throughout the entire day will help you get a lot more battery life. So next up, we are back inside settings. Again, you want to click on General and then Background App Refresh. So first up, I would recommend keeping this on Wi-Fi instead of Wi-Fi and cellular data. You can completely turn it off if you don't need any of your apps to update in the background. I kind of like this feature, so I keep it on Wi-Fi. And what I do is I just pick which applications I want to update in the background. So I can actually probably turn off these two because I don't need them updating in the background. I'm gonna leave on Climb here because this is a weather application, so it's kind of nice if this updates in the background for me to get the latest weather information. But you can go through this list on your own and you can look at which applications you want to update in the background. And the less applications you have turned on, the better your battery is going to be. So my final suggestion in this video may go against everything that you think you know as an iPhone user, but trust me, it works. And it is not to kill your open applications. So I see so many iPhone users doing this, and you probably do it too, be honest, that swipe up their applications here to close all of their open applications. And this is honestly killing your battery life. Now, why does this happen? Well, let's take Twitter for example. Twitter is already open, and if I click on it, you can see I just pick up where I left off. But if I kill Twitter and then open it again, as you can see here, it has to load the splash screen, it has to load the assets and pull everything from the internet all over again. And if you do this with all of your applications on your iPhone, this can kill your battery life. So my recommendation would just be to keep all of your applications open on your iPhone, as the iPhone already has exceptional power management. So hopefully now with these tips, you're able to use your iPhone for a little bit longer and squeeze out a bit more battery life. If you found this video interesting or helpful, or if you learned something new, make sure to drop a like on this video and also comment down below telling me your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Michael with IDB, and I'll see you next time.